morning, kindergartners. Happy Monday. Welcome to your first Bible lesson of the week. Let's begin, as we always do, with prayer. Now, before I run to play, let me not forget to pray to God who kept me through the night and woke me with the morning light. Amen. All right, boys and girls, you'll remember that these past couple weeks, we've been talking about that man named Martin Luther. He was a really cool person, wasn't he? Well, this week, we're going to get back to our friend Moses, who we talked about a few weeks ago. Do you remember when you colored this baby Moses basket? You colored the basket and cut out the grass to show that when he was a baby, his mom put him in the river to protect him because there was a rule at that time where all the baby Israelite boys were to be killed. So she sent him down the river. And the daughter of Pharaoh actually found him in the basket and took care of him. So remember when you made this basket? This is actually Karina's basket. Good job, Karina. And so that was a story about when Moses was a baby. And today we're going to pick up the story when Moses is a grown-up, when he's all grown up, when he's a grown man. So just like when God took care of baby Moses when he was a baby, the reason that he did that was because he had a very, very special purpose for Moses's life. Just like God has a very special purpose for your life. In fact, before you were even born, God knew what your name was going to be. He knew your mom and dad and your family, and he knew what you were going to be when you grow up your whole life. The same was true for Moses. God knew that he had a very special reason for Moses to be born and to grow up. And we're going to learn about that today, about what God chose Moses to do. So let's talk about it. Moses, as he grew up in the palace, in Pharaoh's palace, remember? And he learned a lot there. He went to a good school. He grew up like a normal boy. And when he was older, he became a shepherd, which meant that he took care of sheep. He made sure that they ate, that they found grass, that they were okay in the fields, that animals didn't eat them. So one day, he was out in the mountains taking care of his sheep because that was his job. That was Moses' job. And he was out in the mountains one day, and he suddenly saw something very strange. Here's what he saw. He was out in the mountains taking care of his sheep, and he saw a bush that was on fire. Do you see this picture? Here's Moses. He's a grown man, right? He has white hair now. And he saw this bush, and it was on fire. But the bush was not burning up. Maybe you've had a campfire before where you set the logs on fire, the wood on fire. And eventually, that wood turns black, right? And it burns down, and you have to add more logs to the fire. That's because wood burns up, right? Well, this bush was not burning up. It was not turning black. And Moses thought that was really, really strange. So he went over, and he went to check it out. And when he got close, he knew that this was something special going on. This was a miracle that God was doing to try to talk to Moses, to tell him the really, really special purpose that he had for him. And so here's what happened. Moses got up close to the bush, and the bush talked to him. It was God talking through the bush. He said, "Moses, Moses." And Moses said, "Here I am, Lord, what would you like?" And the bush said, God said through the bush, he said, "Take off your sandals, because you are standing on holy ground." You can see in the picture that he took off his sandals. That was a sign of respect because he was in God's presence at this time, right? God was there with him. So he took off his sandals. And Moses said, "All right, Lord, what would you like? What do you have to tell me?" And God said to him, "My job for you is to go to Egypt because my people are in slavery there. And your job is to bring them out of Egypt into freedom. that is my job for you. I want you to be their leader and to take them away from the Egyptians, because I promised them that I would come back for them and deliver them, and now is the time, and you're going to be their leader. And Moses, when he heard this awesome, amazing job that he had from God, he was not excited. He actually was very, very scared and nervous. He suddenly said, "Oh God, I can't be their leader. I'm a shepherd. I don't lead people out of slavery. What am I going to tell them?" And God said, tell the Israelites that I sent you, that their God, the God of their fathers, Abraham and Jacob, tell them that I sent you and you are the person that's going to lead them and deliver them through me. And Moses said, I can't do that. What if they don't believe me? I'm just some guy that shepherds sheep. And God said, I will give you some signs to show them that it is really, really me that's sending you. And so here's the signs. Back then in the Bible times, God did a lot of miracles, didn't he? He did a miracle through the bush. And here's some miraculous things, some amazing things that he allowed Moses to do so that he could show them that it was really God. So he said to Moses, here's something that you can show them to prove that it's me. Take your staff, your shepherd's staff. You can see this walking stick that Moses had. It was something to help shepherd the sheep. He said to Moses, throw your staff on the ground and it's going to turn into a snake. And that's exactly what Moses did. He took his wooden stick, his shepherd's staff, and he threw it on the ground and it turned right into a snake right on the ground. That was a miracle. And then he told Moses to pick it up again, and then it turned back into the staff. It went from the staff to the snake, and then from the snake back to the staff again. That was a miracle. But that still wasn't enough for Moses. He said, they still won't believe me, God. And God said, here's another thing you can do. Take your hand, put it into your coat, and then take it out again. Do that right now. And Moses did that. And when he took his hand out of his coat, his hand was all full of red sores and injuries. It was a diseased hand. It was like he was sick. And then when he put his hand back into his coat again and took it out, then it was healthy. Then there was nothing wrong with it. So he took his hand in, and then it was sick, and then he put it back, and then it was healthy. That was another miracle that God allowed him to do. And Moses said, well, they still won't believe me. I still can't do this. And God said, here's another thing you can do. Here's another miracle that I'll allow you to do. If you take water out of the river and you pour it onto the ground, it's going to turn into blood. It'll go from water to blood. Then the people will believe you. And Moses did that. And he still said, God, I can't do this. I'm not made to do this. I don't talk that good. I'm not good at speaking to people. I've never been that kind of person. And God said, Moses, this is the job that I am having you do, and you are going to do it. Here is what I will do for you because you are complaining so much about this. God was not happy with Moses at this point because he was just refusing to do what God was telling him to do. God was getting upset because Moses was refusing to do it. Here's what God said, though. He said, here's what I'll do. I'll have your brother, his name was Aaron. He said, Aaron, your brother, will go with you, and he can speak for you because you are too scared to speak. And Aaron can be your speaker, but you still have to be the leader. You have to go and do this. And so Moses finally said, okay, Lord, I will do this because you are telling me to do this. And Aaron will go with me, my brother, my older brother, and he'll speak for me, and I'll try to go lead out the Israelites. And so that's what Moses did. He finally listened to God after all that, and said, I will go and be the Israelites' leader. Okay, I'll do it. So then he packed up his stuff and he packed up his brother and he went to Egypt. And that was how God showed Moses in this miraculous way that was his purpose for his life, that he needed to go to Egypt and lead God's people out of slavery. Remember how I told you earlier that the Israelites, that Pharaoh was trying to kill all the Israelite boys? Well, the Egyptians still were not being nice to the Israelites. God's people were being enslaved, and so it was time for them to be brought out of slavery. And we're going to hear more about that later this week. So you learned today about what God chose Moses to do, to lead them out of Egypt. And today you'll get to color a picture of that. So find your packet. The first thing we're going to do is write our name at the top so that we can remember that it's yours. So since that's our first lesson of the week, find a pencil, write your name on the name slot. All right. Once you have your name, you can turn to Monday. And then you can take out your coloring sheet for today. This is going to be your religion work for today. What I want you to do is color your picture of Moses. Here's Moses and his shepherd staff and a sheep, because he was being a shepherd, right? Talking to the burning bush, which was really God talking to him through that bush, right? I want you to color. You can color Moses' clothes however you want, but what I want you to do is make sure you color the bush green, because it wasn't turning black, was it? Color the bush green, and you can color the fire, some kind of fire color, like yellow or orange or red, but make sure the bush is green and the fire is a bright fiery color. So color this picture of God talking to Moses as best as you can and upload it to the yellow religion folder so that Mrs. Barsh and I can see what nice coloring you did this week for the story of God calling Moses. Thank you, kindergartners. I'll see you later for math meeting.